Hey guys, it's Joe from American Muscle, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the C&L Street Performance Slot Style Mass Airflow Meter or Sensor, calibrated, fitting all 11 to 14 GTs. Now, this is going to be a great option for the Coyote owner out there looking to get a little bit more horsepower from the extra air brought in by some other bolt-ons. So, in order for us to understand what the C&L MAF sensor is going to do for your Mustang, we have to understand the problem with the factory MAF sensor. So, that factory sensor, it's designed to work around the other stock components. I'm talking the intake tube, throttle body, intake manifold, injectors, stuff like that is all designed to work together as one cohesive unit. However, I'm willing to bet if you're watching this video, your Mustang is probably not stock. You probably have some components that are going to up the amount of air going through your engine. I'm talking cold air intakes, intake manifolds, throttle bodies, maybe even forced induction, and hopefully you have some injectors to go along with that. Now, if you are in that scenario, you're pushing a lot more air into your Coyote motor, and you could sometimes max out, or what's commonly referred to as peg out, your mass airflow sensor. Now, that is going to be a bad thing to do. That extra air is just being wasted, and even worse, it could sometimes go into your combustion chamber, leaning out that air-fuel ratio, which can lead to very, very bad things. This is where our C&L MAF sensor comes into place, because this has a much higher limit than the factory sensor, allowing it to read that extra air. It's going to send a higher signal to your PCM, which is then going to compensate with more fuel in the combustion chamber to keep that air-fuel ratio exactly where it needs to be, and that is where some horsepower will hopefully come from. C&L saw about 10 to 18 horsepower with this little guy right here. Now, that is on their dyno with their car, but suffice to say, the gains can be there if you're in that scenario. This thing has pretty good reviews as well. As of late 2019, currently sitting at around 4.6 out of 5 stars with about 58 reviews, so a lot of people are noticing a difference in the driving aspects of their Mustang. Again, you have those other bolt-ons. Something like this could be a huge benefit. You might see a little bit of horsepower, you might see a little bit of throttle response, but it would be a shame to have a factory mass airflow sensor bottleneck your Coyote's power. Another great feature about this is it features that factory slot style, so this is going to be direct replacement, reusing that factory hardware and dropping right in with the factory electrical harness. No modification and no tuning required in order to run something like this. Pricing for the C&L MAF sensor gonna drop in right around $275, which might seem a little bit steep, but again, if you have those other bolt-ons, it really would be a shame to limit your Coyote's power with something as simple as a mass airflow sensor pegging out. So this is a good buy if you're in that bolt-on scenario and you're looking to pick up just a little bit more horsepower. The install for this is going to be really, really easy. 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter for sure. At most, this should take you about 5 to 15 minutes in the driveway with nothing but some basic hand tools. We're going to be reusing the factory hardware, and again, no tune is required to run this, guys. So without any further ado, let me show you what tools you might need and then how it's done. The only tool we use for our install will include this Phillips head screwdriver, but I'm pretty sure the factory bolts will require a T15 Torx bit. Like I said, this is going to be really, really simple. Grab that Phillips head screwdriver. We're just going to loosen up the 2 screws that hold in our factory MAF sensor. Then we can unplug it and replace with our new one. Now, as we're loosening up these bad boys, you want to go nice and slow. Really do not want to lose this hardware. This one is a little bit tougher to get at with this plastic shroud here. Depending on your screwdriver, you might have to remove that. So now we have our sensor out. All we're gonna do is flip that bad boy over. There's a red release tab right there. Pull that out, push down, and we should be able to unplug it and replace with our new one. So now that we have our factory MAF sensor uninstalled, I figured now would be the perfect time to sit it down next to our new C&L sensor and point out some key differences between the two. Now, visually, they're pretty much the same exact thing. The C&L is a drop-in replacement, One difference I did notice is this is painted black. You got the C&L logo on there, but once this is installed, you're never gonna see it. So basically the same exact thing in terms of what the build is, but again, that C&L is a huge upgrade in terms of how much air this can read. If you do have those mods that are going to allow your Mustang to take in more air, this is going to be able to read that, while the factory one would peg again or max out. And this is going to allow your PCM to compensate by adding more fuel, keeping the air-fuel ratio right where it needs to be, therefore netting the most amount of horsepower possible. So the install for our C&L is just gonna be the reverse of our factory uninstall here. So we're gonna grab our screws, take our new C&L over to our Mustang, and drop this right in place. So when you drop this in, you wanna make sure that this is the correct way. Do not drop it in with the lettering up. You can see our airflow arrow is backwards like that. You actually wanna flip this over to the blank side and install that face up like so. Now we can take our 2 screws and secure that to the intake tube. The last thing we're gonna have to do here is actually plug the thing in. And that is going to click on like so, and then on the underside, we can secure it by flipping back that red latch. Guys, that is gonna do it for me. It's also gonna do it for the C&L Street Performance Slot Style Mass Airflow Meter or Sensor Calibrated, fitting all 11 to 14 GTs. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more like this one. Keep it right here at American Muscle for all things Mustang.